Hello everyone, my name is Marcus and welcome to another Warmane video. Today we're going to look at one arena in particular I had. Last week, during my stream, I had a 31-minute match against some less geared players. For the gear they had, it shouldn't have taken that long to defeat them. The reason why this happened is a combination of things, and that's one of the reasons why I've decided to make a video like this. There's definitely something we can learn from these two players we had on the enemy team. We're going to try and analyze and understand what I could have done better, but we can also learn from what they did very well. And I have to say, I don't know who these people are, I don't know where they come from, but they were played very well. I will, however, say, in my defense, the last time I did an Arms Warrior Holy Paladin mirror was, I think, 4 years ago, something ludicrous like that. So it's not surprising that somebody much more experienced than me would have been able to avoid a lot of the damage that I was doing and survive for so long. Let's look at some overarching things that happened across the arena though. First of all, that warrior parried and dodged I don't know how many mortal strikes. And you might think, well, you're a best-in-slot arms warrior, you can do loads of damage anyway. But one of the main tools and one of the reasons why arms warriors are hard to deal with is because they have mortal strike. Without that healing reduction, they are much less effective. Throughout the arena, if you go back and watch the whole VOD, what you'll notice is that this warrior used Sunder armor much more than I did. I used it a little bit, sometimes I forgot, and it's certainly one of the problems I have in arenas as a warrior, and that I don't apply Sunder armor stacks as much as I should. Sometimes I forget, and in this arena, I definitely did forget quite a lot, especially considering how long the arena was. It's one of those things that you need to learn to do, and I also need to remember to do. Sunder armor stacks, it's like getting extra armor penetration, and because on my warrior I use Whispering Fanged Skull, not Deathbringer's Will, that's less armor penetration, and I need to compensate in some way. This warrior was able to do decent damage, I would say very good damage for his gear level, partly thanks to his use of Sunder armor. Another thing this warrior did better than me was debuffs. We have 3 debuffs in particular, apart from Sunder armor. We have Thunderclap, which reduces your attack speed. We have Demoralizing Shout, which reduces your attack power. And also Piercing Howl, which slows you. I sometimes forget to use these. It's one of those things that you learn to do basically as a second nature when you play a lot. And if you don't play a lot of Arms Warrior Holy Paladin mirrors, it's one of those things that you can easily forget. And it's something that I do very easily forget. If you have all 3 of them on, you have lower attack speed, you have lower attack power, and you are slow, which means it's easier for someone else to run away. This was made especially easier during some points when I nearly killed the warrior, but he was able to run away because I forgot to use Piercing Howl and he didn't. So he was able to run away and avoid using Shield Wall or Shield Block. Let's look at some particular moments in this arena. So right at the beginning, my trinkets proc and I almost killed the paladin. I make him bubble, but he also fake casts. This paladin also fake casted my Overpower. The importance of Overpower is quite big. If you've watched my talents guide, which I can link in the video description, if you use Overpower when someone casts a spell, it reduces their healing and spell damage by 50%. This Holy Paladin avoided it, and that's so important for someone who has less gear. So you might ask yourself, how does the Holy Paladin know this? Well, when Overpower is available from Rend, you get a proc called Taste for Blood, and you can actually see that in your list of buffs. He must have been looking for it, so he knows when to bait it when it's available. He knows how to fake cast for it when Overpower is usable by me. In this part of the arena, I tried to walk to him to use a fear. The paladin obviously saw this, used Hand of Sacrifice on the warrior, which means that his damage is transferred to him. So I did successfully fear him, but the damage transferred from Hand of Sacrifice broke the fear. This can also be used to remove Polymorph, for example, if you're dealing with a mage. So a Holy Paladin that can do this can really save himself and avoid having to trinket or use Divine Shield, and he did this extremely well and very effectively. Point at which I did this, you can see here, I did a Focus Interrupt. So that's one of the macros that you can copy in my macro guide, link in the description. Mechanically, it was a nice thing to do, but the point at which I did it wasn't all that important because their HP was quite high. So I interrupt it, but there's not really all that much going on. So a better time to interrupt it is when their HP is lower. In this point in the arena, you can see here actually the Holy Paladin, he escapes me with Hand of Freedom at 5% HP. Now, loads of Holy Paladins at that point will use Divine Shield. But this Holy Paladin, instead of using Divine Shield, he knew that I was slow, and so he ran away with Hand of Freedom with 5% of his HP and was able to heal himself up. We can see here, the Paladin avoids death again because the warrior charges on me to stop me from getting to the Paladin. And because I didn't slow the Paladin, so this is another mistake, I didn't use Piercing Howl or Hamstring, it made it more difficult for me to get to him, which means he was free to cast and heal himself up again. Let's look at something I did well here. This is a good way to use Intimidating Shout, Focus Charge into Focus Fear. Like this, you can't really predict it. You can't use Hand of Sacrifice because Charge is a stun, and so it forces him to trinket. So this is one good thing I did, but immediately after, the warrior avoided my intercept. I wanted to get to the warrior because I got the fear. He jumps away from the intercept and uses his trinket and Piercing Howl, so he avoids my damage. So at that point in time, if I get a full fear on the Paladin, I'm free to cast my spells and do damage on the warrior. But the warrior did an excellent job of avoiding this. There's really quite a lot to learn in this arena, not just for you, the viewers, who are learning, but also for me. And finally, let's look at this part here. 2 mortal strikes parried, followed by a dodge.
This is so very fun.
Divine Plea.
Parry a mess, cool story, bro. This is and he dodges the next one. Oh, piss off.
Swap. Whatever.
So this warrior avoided 3 mortal strikes in a row. With the gear, they would have won. I certainly wouldn't have been able to beat them, at least not in the way that I played in that arena. Now, I would like to remind you that I consider this to be a failure, but we still did win the arena.
Counter.
Kicked Paladin, kicked Paladin. Finally! You might look at people who don't have gear and you might look at them and think they're bad, but this is a demonstration that it's absolutely not the case. It's only unfortunate that warriors are so dependent on gear. In a situation like that, it was just a matter of time before I killed one of them. They didn't really have that much of a chance in the arena. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful and informative. Even when you have trouble, even when you have difficulties, even when, for example, you lose arenas, there's always something to learn. I believe it's very important to learn from your mistakes. It's true I understand the class, but when it comes to playing mechanically and doing things in the moment, there's still a lot that I can improve. And I hope with this information, you too can improve and understand the game a bit more, because that's the most important thing, in my opinion, about these videos. I'm not going to play arenas 8 hours a day to become a gladiator. I just don't have that kind of time. But I quite enjoy analyzing the game like this. So once again, if you've enjoyed the video, please do leave a like and subscribe for future content in the comments. I'd be very happy to read your feedback, what you think. And yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.